Welcome to the Wedding Common. I'm your host Amy, and today we are talking bands. Music is one of the most important parts of a wedding as it sets the mood for the entire night. And live music can make your wedding reception a totally unique experience. In a recent Wedding Wire survey, 95% of wedding guests said that the music played at the wedding reception will determine how much fun they have. So it's important to get the right band who can get your guests up and moving and keep them up and moving. So to help us with those details are Anthony and Thomas from Naked Soul. You gotta love that name. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, the band is actually comprised of a lot of the best New York City musicians who've worked with artists like Deborah Cox, Lauryn Hill, John Legend, Mary J. Blige, Jay-Z, Ray Charles. I can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
So we put the band together years back when we really wanted to do something fun and also get into the wedding industry. We've also won a bunch of awards from the Knot, Wedding Wire.
I was gonna say, Westchester, you've also won Westchester Awards for bands. Tell us a little bit about your awards.
So we've been winning for the past 6 years. We've won Best Live Band in Westchester Magazine under the weddings and events section. So we've won so many times now that last year they asked us to actually be on the cover of the Best of Westchester
impressive.
issue, which was really cool. Yeah. So we did that. So we were on the cover of the magazine for the Best of Westchester issue, which is their big issue for the year.
Yeah.
So that was kind of exciting.
Yeah, and we've been consistently winning awards in Wedding Wire and the Knot for many years now.
Great.
So, yeah.
Now, what would you say your vibe is? Like, what if a wedding couple is going to come to you and they're like, I want something very exciting, or I want what would you say your general vibe is?
Well, our general vibe is what I try to explain to our clients that I think sets us apart from some of the other bands that are out there is we're sophisticated, we're elegant, but we're really high energy and we're really fun. So the general style of the band, I think, is high energy and fun, but yet sophisticated at the same time, which I think most wedding clients
are looking for. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm assuming the band that you guys have put together, especially for weddings, there are multiple versions of it, like people can...
We're a 10-piece minimum.
Okay.
So we start at 10 pieces. That includes 2 horns, a percussionist, a drummer, bass player. I'm on guitar and I sing. He's on keyboards and he sings, and then we have 3 more vocalists. So within those 10 pieces, there's 5 vocalists, which help us kind of like cover a wide range of styles too.
We have a wide range of vocal sounds, and we can cover big harmonies, and that's what we try to explain to our clientele is that lineup is what enables us to be as diverse as we are. And that's really what's going to keep the party going, is to be able to shift gears from one era to another era, from one genre to another genre.
Keep all the guests happy
to keep everybody
and on the dance floor.
Right.
To keep everyone engaged. And that's basically our philosophy when we're doing an event, is to keep mixing it up and keep switching it up to keep things moving and keep everybody engaged.
Because there's going to be grandma from the 20s there to the teenager.
And he's great at that because he's we're co-band leaders, but he's the one who calls all the tunes and kind of helps with the flow of the event, and he deals with the.
But I'm also the one. Yeah, I'm also the one who works with the clients leading up to the event, so I know exactly what. From conversations that we've had, what their tastes are, what they're looking for. Yeah. So I'm, basically reading the crowd and infusing as much of their requests into the evening as possible.
And at the same time, kind of mixing it up a lot through the night to keep everyone happy.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys play everything?
Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, jazz.
There's not a whole lot that we can't do. Yeah, we'll hear a lot more jazz earlier in the night. When people are coming into the room, like the entrance music we'll play, we usually stick with a lot of instrumentals so that when people are coming in, it's really comfortable so that they can speak and you don't really hear much vocals. Usually that's what we'll do. So it'll be like some Herbie Hancock or fusion stuff like that, cool jazz.
Yeah.
And then, you'll hear some Frank Sinatra.
You know how to warm up the night, it sounds like.
kind of build it.
And you have to read the crowd the whole time, because sometimes people will come into a room and you can feel that they need time to adjust and to settle in. And
other times they're more raring to go, so you want to pick it up quicker.
I'm sure from the years of experience you've had, you know how to really read the room. Read a crowd and kind of what they want.
So what happened was, in the early years, people would book the band and then they would ask me if there were other things that we could provide, because they would feel comfortable with me. They didn't want to go elsewhere to do all their music shopping. So it kind of turned into a one-stop shop for our clientele, just to accommodate them as best as possible.
So the band came first, and then we created the entertainment company.
Second.
Second.
Yeah, to provide, because somebody would ask me, well, can you line up a string quartet for my ceremony, or could you hire, line up a DJ for our after party for us?
Yeah.
And being in the New York City area, since we were kids doing this,
we know a lot of
people. So it was a very easy transition for us to make, and we made it. So now we represent DJs, we represent other ensembles. The one thing that still makes us different from some of the other entertainment companies is we at this point still only have Naked Soul as the premier party band. There aren't other big dance bands in the company besides Naked Soul. Whereas other companies do have various
multiple different types of bands.
But we have all these specialized ensembles like string quartets and jazz bands and a Caribbean group, some rock groups, a variety of things. We even have other performers like aerialists and fire dancers and things like that, fire performers.
That are more offshoots of the band.
These are all just other talent that we represent, because we'll get, because we started out doing mostly weddings in the early days, but then we started moving more into fundraisers, galas, corporate events. So our corporate clients will say to us, we want something in the middle of the event that's just different and special. What can we do to just give that extra other performance in the middle of the event to break things up? If we get a fundraiser or a gala where they need video walls and they need additional lighting, and we've purchased uplighting over the years and all kinds of things between lighting and video.
So you have like full equipment for kind of any level.
Any level of event.
Pretty much cover anything.
Wow, wow, okay, that's good.
If someone wanted to hire ceremony music also, it wouldn't be members from the band, it would be separate musicians.
Got it.
But for the cocktail hour, we can include that.
From the band,
like musicians from the band, like one or two pieces or even three to play the cocktail hour.
But it would all be under one contract,
it's all
under one company. So easy. That makes it a lot easier.
Absolutely.
So I need to ask you guys about your song list. So usually a DJ will have a database that you can go through and kind of pick out your songs, but for a band, you guys have a song list, right? So talk to me a little bit more about that. If you had a client come to you, how do you work with that?
It's pretty simple. What happens is, at a certain point of time before leading up to the event, usually around 6 weeks or so, give or take. I'll reach out to the clients if I haven't heard from them, especially, and say, okay, it's time to start wrapping up the details for the event. At that point, when I send them this email, it includes an attachment to the band's most current song list, because we're always adding to it.
Okay.
And it's a really diverse, it's a very diverse list. So it's really.
How many songs would you say are on the list?
There are
estimate?
Hundreds of songs, and that doesn't cover everything the band really knows. It's just what's in our regular rotation.
Got it.
So mostly what's in the regular rotation. Not much of it would need to be refreshed if it was requested. So, and we also use that because we want people to get a real, when they're shopping for the band, and when we provide that list, it's the other reason for that is you want people to have a realistic expectation for the band. So I mean, we could put more music on it, but it might not really be the proper representation for the band. So at that point, we also provide a link to a planner on the website. They're going to fill out the planner, but they have that song list to accompany them. So as they're filling out the planner, it helps them with their requests. We always promise to learn at least 1 or 2 songs per event.
That's my next question. So you will learn a song?
Sure.
Wow,
we will learn at least one song.
At least one,
There may be the most important requests, what we call the special requests for the event. And then there may be a few songs that they would love to hear that they have in mind that they're not finding on the list. So it might not be something that's absolutely necessary, but they would love to hear if possible. So we say, provide, if you want to, 5 or 10 additional songs, because you never know what you're going to hit that we already do know. It's just not on the list. Or it's just so easy, because this is like a really high caliber group of musicians. Some music that, to the average person, they think, every song is difficult to learn. But some songs are just so easy.
Talk to me about what you guys wear. I know that seems like kind of an odd question. May not be something that many wedding couples think of. But
I think it's a good question. I mean, it depends on the event. Because we can go anywhere from more casual to more formal. We're usually more formal on the formal end. So that's basically suits and ties for the guys, and cocktail dresses or gowns if it's more even more formal for the girls. We've been known to dress less than that. Like we had an event last year where it was such a great event up in Hudson, New York. It was more of a, because the place was a live music venue where they were getting married, where they were having the reception. a great place, and
More
it
like
was
a
more
club.
like a rock and roll kind of club.
Oh, fun.
So
Yeah.
we didn't dress in suits and, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
gowns.
checked with the bride and groom ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because I had a feeling that that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But you don't want to take a chance on something.
course.
They
and
didn't
then
say
show up
actually at
and-
first, so
Yeah.
but I was like, I don't think they're gonna want us
Yeah.
in our usual suits and ties.
Yeah.
Which they didn't.
And they did.
So it was more of a rock and roll concert type
fun.
vibe. So.
Yeah, they said we really want like a concert
Yeah.
vibe and setting. So we're like, that's easy.
So along with song list, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's really important. You have to trust your band, right? With the songs they're going to pick,
Sure,
as
absolutely.
opposed, I'm sure you have some couples who really want to micromanage what you play,
Right.
but that's kind of not how a band works. Am I right?
That's true. And I really feel as a DJ that it doesn't always work well that way either.
We always do better if you kind of trust us to
Yeah.
use our own judgment, because we do it every weekend. And it's
So-
always best if the client trusts the vendor
Yeah.
to know what to do. Because if you don't really trust that they know what they're going to do, then maybe you shouldn't hire that
Right.
vendor.
Yes,
Find
yes,
a vendor
good
that
point,
you do
good
trust,
point.
you know,
Yeah.
so that you can relax and enjoy the day.
Yeah,
As a bride
and I mean
groom.
that's really, yeah. As a wedding couple, that's
Right.
really the goal, right?
That it's really a blend of us reading the crowd and then infusing as
Taking
much
their
of your
preferences into
Yeah.
consideration.
musical requests and preferences into the event as possible.
Absolutely. So
And that
it's an
always
art.
works. Yeah.
It kind of is.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, that's all really good to know. Did you guys do a no playlist as well?
As a DJ, I'm a little more open to do not plays. As a band leader, I'm still open to it, but I'm a little bit more.
We try to keep it to a minimum.
We try to have them keep it to a minimum.
Got it.
If there's any one or two things that makes us
Stand out.
special
Yeah.
or stand out, it's the chemistry of the band, the fact because we're really all we're very tight knit. It's a musical family.
And you've all been together for
We've
a
been
long
together
time,
for a
so you're
long
very,
time.
yeah, clean, very tight.
And in addition to the energy and the chemistry that we bring, it's the diversity that we bring. That's
Yeah.
the one thing that I think is really difficult to find.
There are some younger bands these days that all they do really is modern music. They don't do much of the classics, which is so odd to me. That,
Yeah,
you know, like
'cause
you're
there's
forgetting
still a
about
range of ages.
Mom and dad and
Yeah.
grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
And then there's some older bands that are not comfortable with the younger modern music.
Yeah.
So they stay away from that.
Yeah.
And we feel our strength is we do all the classics. We do a lot of modern music.
Yeah.
We almost equal, and we feel that we do it all authentically. So when we cover a modern song, it doesn't sound funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we're covering a classic song, it sounds authentic as well. So we won't do it if it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
If a bride and groom are hiring a band that's somewhat similar in size to us, like a 10-piece band type of thing, and if there's going to be stage risers, you want to make sure that it's at least like a 12 by 24 stage. If we're not on stage, we can squeeze that down a little bit. Obviously, 10 people, musicians on the stage, you want to, for the safety reasons, you want to
Yeah.
have
Right,
enough
make
space.
sure there's enough space.
So 12 by 24 works really well for us.
Okay.
Obviously, bigger is great too, but
Yeah.
12 by 24. And if we weren't on stage risers, we could squeeze down to more like a 10 by 20 type.
Now, are you providing the stage risers? Are they
Usually,
is the venue?
sometimes sometimes we're at a hotel and they have those
Okay.
available, or we could be in a tent and then it would be the bride and groom, usually through the tent company.
We don't
are not
require
providing it.
We don't
Yeah.
require
Right, we
staging.
don't require being on a stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have that
As
too
an
with the bride
option.
and
Yeah,
groom.
I believe the hotels usually provide it
Yeah.
as part of the booking.
Okay.
I don't think that they.
It's like
charge
such a
extra.
small logistic that I would never
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
think of or know
Right.
what to do.
Yeah,
So
of course, the tent companies are going to charge.
Right.
Okay.
10 companies are going to charge.
Ah, got it. Okay. Okay.
So if
Hotels,
it's
I
an
don't think so. But
Yeah, but if it's an outdoor reception and
Yeah.
it's tented, the tent company will bring it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
We'll arrive with the roadies about at least 4 hours in advance of the reception time
Oh,
to set
wow,
up the
really?
band.
Okay.
If there's some kind of unforeseen technical issue, you have time to deal with
Yeah.
it. It's a large 10-piece band. There's a lot of equipment that needs to be set up. So we've been known to do it in 90 minutes or less.
Wow.
Even an hour, which is really rough.
Yeah.
But
You can
we'd
do
rather
it.
have 4 hours. If the room is open and available to us,
So from
that's around the time
90
when we'll
minutes
show
to
up.
4 hours is sort of
Yeah.
the window, yeah,
Yeah.
preferably 4 hours.
Yeah.
Preferably
Okay.
4 hours, but yeah.
And you're bringing your own equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
We have various levels of sound.
Okay.
So if we're familiar with the venue, we're going to know what level we need.
Uh-huh.
If we're not familiar with the venue, I always
Find
do
out.
a site visit.
Okay.
So that's another thing that we do that not every band will do. I schedule a site visit at least a few weeks before the event to see what the requirements are going to be.
Look at
Great.
the space and make sure everything is.
Because we'll
Yeah.
bring in
And make
different
sure-
sound systems.
Yeah.
And make sure we know exactly how to load in and load out before time.
Also, so what are some things that wedding couples may not have thought of? Like, you guys need to be fed, right? What else are kind of riders on your contract that
Yeah.
couples have not thought of?
The only riders in the contract really are based on what we mentioned, the space requirement,
Uh-huh.
the electrical requirements.
Okay.
Because that's, of course you can't perform without having the right amount of space and
Yeah.
electricity.
Yeah.
Other than that, we request to be fed.
Okay. But do you take breaks, and what happens in the meantime? Are you playing music in the meantime?
Yeah,
You
that's a very good question because that's something that everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
And I always cover it with them if they forget to ask. It's important to know how we do it as opposed to the way other people may do it. A lot of bands will claim and do provide continuous music throughout the course of the night.
Uh-huh.
But you have to be careful with that continuous music phrase because everybody likes to throw it around.
Yeah.
But it means different things to different people.
Okay, interesting.
We handle our breaks a little bit differently. So, whereas other bands will literally take multiple breaks throughout the course of the night, but they will alternate musicians on those breaks.
Oh, interesting.
So that's how
Okay.
they provide
We
what
usually
they
have
call-
2 musicians on stage.
Yeah, it's usually like 2
a
musicians
singer
on
and a
stage.
keyboard player or a horn
Got
player
it.
and a
They
guitar
kind of
player.
narrow it down and then
Yeah,
rotate.
everyone, yeah.
And then they rotate those 2 musicians.
But it's multiple breaks.
But it's multiple breaks.
And it's really less dancing time.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So we find that to be very disruptive to the flow. In a 4-hour standard reception,
Yeah.
there's, it goes by fast.
Yeah.
Especially when you factor in that there's the main course where everything comes down.
Yeah.
So we do have a very high energy band. We pride ourselves on our energy, like I said before. So we do handle it a little differently than most other bands do, in the sense that we look at the main course as our one official significant break.
Okay.
Most caterers prefer to feed the vendors during the main course. And that's when we prefer to
Take our break.
Yeah,
All one
to,
break.
to take our break as well, because that's the one time where you don't want people dancing. You're spending
Yeah.
a lot of money on that food.
you want people
Yeah,
to enjoy the
you want to say
entree.
Yes.
Yeah, you want them to be able to sit there, not only enjoy the food, but
And be able
enjoy
to
their,
talk.
Yeah.
enjoy their conversations with each other, and have the music come down to the right level.
Yeah.
So the band is usually on stage the entire event except for
Wow.
the main course.
Okay.
So during the main course, that's when we take our break.
When they tell us that we're ready to feed the band, we'll break,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
we'll eat.
And then you're on there for the rest of the night?
Yeah.
Wow, that is...
we'll usually do a good 90-minute set
Uh-huh.
because the main course typically comes out at a certain point around
Yeah.
2 hours into the event. So if it comes out at 2 hours into the 4-hour reception, it's usually going to be all over by 2.5 hours into the reception. So
Uh-huh.
then we can get through a 90-minute set
Yeah.
of high energy music.
Yeah.
It becomes difficult to go longer than that.
Yeah.
But we have been known to do that as well.
Mhm.
And we just don't like to disrupt the flow of the event.
I was
People
going to
wanna
say,
dance,
it
so-
seems to be like that should be your tagline. Right? That's
Yeah.
like so
We're like the
important.
Bruce Springsteen of,
Yeah.
of the wedding.
Yeah, of the wedding industry,
Yeah.
the wedding band industry.
Yeah, we play long sets.
We do.
Yeah.
That last set is tiring, but we enjoy it.
We enjoy
Yeah.
it, and then there's
Because everyone's up and
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's everyone's having a great
they
time.
keep you going.
Right, exactly.
How much does a wedding band actually cost?
That's a good question. You will find
Wide ranges.
a
Yeah.
lot, especially in the New York City area, you'll find a range from $5,000 to $25,000, $30,000 bands.
Yeah.
And they're not even necessarily that much different from us in size of a band. You know, you can find a pretty large band like ours for 5,000, 6,000, 7,000.
But that's usually outside the New York City area.
Yeah.
In New York State, but outside the city probably.
Yeah, but you know, in New York City for sure, the bands are more like 15 to 25 or upward from there.
Okay. So as an average, that's kind of what people can look at.
So we feel that we're very competitively priced in that sense because we do feel like we are one of, if not the best band in the New York City area, and our pricing is $12,500 for the 10 pieces.
Oh wow! Okay,
so,
that's
you know,
very
we hear from a lot of our event planner friends that we should be a lot
charging more.
But we, you know, the thing is, we try to charge what we need to make the event happen the right way.
Yeah.
And at this point, we're trying not to do anything more than that because when you do that, you are also cutting a whole group of people out of booking. And there are a lot of people that love live music that can't afford $15,000, $20,000, $25,000.
Yeah.
And we don't want to cut those people out.
Yeah.
So we're trying to be, you know, the best that you can find as far as the quality of the talent, but as reasonable
within
as
a
we
reasonable
can.
range. Yeah. Okay. Great. How long you guys play for, and are there overtime fees?
Yes. So standard reception is usually 4 hours.
Okay.
So our pricing is based on those 4 hours, that 4 hour block.
Okay.
We sometimes get hired to play 4.5, or usually it would be like another hour, like a 5 hour party. And there are overtime fees, of course, for that 5th hour.
Yeah.
We've even been hired for like a 6 hour block a couple times, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And I guess you could speak to the fees.
Yeah, I mean it's usually $2,500 per hour.
So how far ahead of time should a couple book you? Are we talking months? Are we talking years?
A general average, I think, is around 6 months on the low end and up to 18 months.
Or 2
Wow,
years.
okay.
Or even 2 years.
Yeah.
We
So you take bookings way ahead of time.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been booked as far out as 2 years, and
Wow.
as
I mean,
quickly
even
as we've done it
few months maybe.
for even weddings. Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually we've had a few weddings that booked 3 months.
If you happen to
Wow.
have the date open, which
Yeah.
is unusual, but you know, depending on the time of year, we've booked
And your
even
musicians are
closer
open,
to, right?
yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I know, because there's in different points of the wedding planning process. Obviously, vendors are booked at different times.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I guess a basic average is about a year.
Okay.
You know, but give or take.
Yeah, so bands are pretty far out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. This was really amazing, really informative. Be sure to check them out at www.nakedsoulband.com. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
you.
1, 2, 3.